Beasts That Cling to the Straw, or Beasts Clawing at Straws, which is a far better title in my opinion, and is the title by which it's going under in certain territories, is a Korean film and a first-time film by director Kim Yong-Hoon. I don't want to spend too much time explaining the story of the film, going through the synopsis, mostly because it's kind of complicated, and in a way, it's actually far more complicated to explain what the movie is than it is to follow the film. It's one that has multiple characters, a multitude of timelines and storylines that all end up intersecting at the end, while all these gangsters and opportunists are lying, stealing, and murdering in order to get their hands on a bag full of money. So as I mentioned, the film, despite the sort of intricate storylines and the intricate narration, is actually very easy to follow. And I would say that that's its primary quality. It's just very entertaining and very well put together. There's a real sense of narrative structure in this first-time filmmaker. I would say for Western audiences and Western sensibilities, maybe the closest example I could give to the way the film is structured would be maybe something like early Tarantino, but especially the films that it made me think about the most was early Guy Ritchie, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or Snatch. Now that doesn't mean that the film feels westernized in any way. It still has a very clearly distinct Korean tone, atmosphere, and feel about it, namely in the way that it is able to meld different genres and different tones and go from horrific violence to comedy to melodrama, and that's something that Korean cinema does extraordinarily well. But it also, however superficial, remains a film about Korean society and its seedy underbelly and sort of that specific brand of Korean capitalism that, you know, other films have dived into in a more profound way, because at its core, it's a very, very fun, entertaining film. It was a good time at the cinema, and frankly, it had been a long time since I'd been in a movie theater, so that in itself felt special, but it doesn't try and go beyond that. It's just a really entertaining kind of mainstream Korean action thriller. My favorite films tend to be films that, I don't want to say elevate genre because I hate that idea, but they are films that are able to imprint a certain tone, a certain amount of suspense, a certain atmosphere, a certain pace, a certain style. Films like, you know, what the Safdie brothers do, or, you know, if you want to stay in Korea, what Na Hong-jin is able to do, which for me is the real benchmark for 21st century thrillers. While I was watching it, I was kind of thinking to myself that there is a certain level of quality in these mainstream Korean productions that you just don't get, at least in the West. I was watching the film and I could very much envision this film being made in France and being completely terrible and embarrassing, and yet with this, without it being, you know, all that special, it was still really well put together, fun. There's a great cast of characters, sort of suspenseful at times. There's some really, really intense and really well put together scenes, and like I said, without reinventing the wheel, without going to a place that you haven't seen before. I pretty much knew where it was going from minute one, and, you know, it sort of sagged in the middle for me, although it kind of won me back over again by the end, especially with the introduction of one of the female characters who plays the owner of a bordello in Seoul and who really steals most of the scenes that she's in. I really want to salute the filmmaker for putting together this kind of intricate puzzle in a way that's very elegant, in a way that's easy to follow, and honestly that proves that he's got a lot of talent and a real sense of narrative structure and editing. So as always, thank you very much for watching the video. Please be sure to hit the like button if you like the review, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, see ya. The girl down the block, you're scared of feeling like a stalker. Just remember that you both underneath your fancy clothes are only just bags of water. You were only just a bag of water.